episode 39 of Get the Facts with Folan. I should have started with, hey all you cool cats and kittens. Guys, we're changing it up today. Typically we go to a different country. We see how each of these countries are living during this crazy time of quarantine and coronavirus. But today is our Tiger King edition. So I found out that one of my friends from TCU, my university, she worked for the Tiger King. The man himself, Joe Exotic, for I think 8 months. I don't know. We gotta talk to her. She's gonna tell us all about it. I've got a lot of questions. If you have questions, feel free to comment below. She's requested to be in. Let's have her join. Let's do this Tell All Tiger King edition. So let's see. Cross this works. Yes.
Hey!
How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
So good, so good. So, okay, introduce yourself and then say where you are, and then let's just dive into this, huh?
Sounds like a plan. So I'm Suze. I live in Colorado Springs now, and I worked for Joe Exotic.
So, okay, this works for Joe Exotic. Now, about a year ago, only a handful of people across the United States would have been like, oh, yeah, okay, who's that? This guy is world renowned. So let's dive in. Let's put a little timeline together so people understand, so what year did you start working there?
So I started working there, I think, June of 2014.
Okay. And so that was before he ran for president, but it was after the arm was bitten off, right? So more or less, okay. So
I think the arm was bitten off in October of 2014, I want to say.
Okay.
Because for part of my training, I watched the video with Joe on my first day.
So did Joe specifically request that you watch that so you respect the time? How did that come about on your first day?
So I wasn't actually hired by Joe. There was another producer there. His name was Mark. So Mark hired me. I didn't meet Joe until my first day after I had moved down there. So Mark took me in the office to meet Joe, and Mark was like, hey, this is Suze. She's going to be, working in the studio with us. And he was like, oh, you're the new camera girl. Well, this is your training. And he had the video pulled up. So I just watched this video of her arm just mangled, falling off the bone. And that was that.
Oh. Wow, welcome to the team. Thank you, Joe Exotic. Jeez. Now, it's interesting he had it pulled up. I wonder if he was just watching it that day. Is this something he watched every day just to remind himself, or he knew you were coming? That's why.
I feel like he probably knew I was coming, but you never know with that guy.
Yeah. Okay, so let's rewind just a second. How the hell did you find this job? Like, what was the process?
So I found the job on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And
That's the most perfect spot to find this type of job.
Right? And so I was on Craigslist and I was like, wow, this job sounds awesome. Like living and working at a zoo sounds amazing. So I, called or emailed the number, whatever it was. And Mark told me to come up there for an interview. And, he took me around the park, showed me the trailers, the studio. And I was like, well, this looks great to me. And it was going to be like my first full-time job as a camera operator and editor. So I was like, oh, wow, this is so awesome. Like super excited, dream job. And then, the rest.
Yeah. Jeez, that's just so crazy. So how many interviews? It was just one interview. You showed up, boom, got the job, accepted it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you moved in? I'm assuming they had you live on the property?
Yeah, so I think I want to say I went down on a Sunday, just packed everything in my car, moved down on a Sunday, and started Monday and lived in the trailer.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about the trailers because they showed that a little iffy. Were they as bad as they seemed?
Oh yeah.
How so? Go. Let's hear about it. I mean, what were they like?
I mean, my trailer was actually in the series. The guy, what's his name? The one the murder for hire guy. I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, the super crazy one. Yeah,
Yeah,
the guy
so
that
he
doesn't
was,
remember getting hired for murder, but still allegedly
yeah,
remembers getting the 3 grand. Yeah, yeah,
right. So he was living in the trailer I lived in. But yeah, I mean, it was just gross and dirty and spider infested. And I mean, I'm a clean freak, so I did as much as I could to keep it clean. And my roommate Nico, his mom bought us like a bunch of cleaning supplies, so we had, the Clorox wipes, vacuum, everything, but there was no way to keep it clean. And
yeah.
like at one point, I got a brown recluse bite that turned into a staph infection while I was
Whoa.
living there. Yeah, so it was very rustic, and my
Oh my.
friends always say it was like being at summer camp. So
One weird summer camp.
yeah.
A summer camp you wouldn't find in many parts of the world. So how many of y'all would share these trailers? Were there quite a few on the site?
I want to say there are about five, and
Okay.
the studio crew had one, so it was me and three guys,
Yeah.
and then in the other trailers, it was just like I think there were usually about four to a trailer.
Okay. Wow. With
Yeah.
and there were I mean, were there 4 bedrooms, or were there like it was shared quarters?
Some of the boys had to double up
Yeah.
and share a room. I got my own room, but
That's good. As
yeah,
you deserve. Oh my
yeah.
God. Okay. So how long? So you accepted the job. You moved in. You moved into this disgusting trailer. How long after did you realize, like, wow, this place is pretty screwed up? Like, there's some weirdness going on.
Probably like 3 months in, I would say. Um,
Wow, 3 months. It wasn't after the video of seeing the arm get bit off. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I guess like to me it made sense that he would do that because like
Yeah.
that was a big deal. Like that
True.
affected the park greatly, and like if there's one lesson you take away from that, it's don't put your hands in the cage.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
didn't think that was like that outrageous, but I mean, things really didn't spiral out of control until Joe and John broke up. And then from there, it just snowballed.
Yeah. And so were you there for that? Was that
Yeah.
breakup in your timeline? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I filmed the whole thing. Went to court for it. It was a mess.
Wait, went to court for the breakup?
So let me backtrack a bit.
Wow. Yeah,
So
yeah. Interesting. Okay, let's hear this.
So there was a volunteer kid that was working, and he caught Joe, or not Joe, I'm sorry. He caught John and Amber making out in the gift shop. So he
Uh-oh.
told Joe about it, and Joe confronted John, and like
Yeah.
they got in a fight. And then the next day, Joe called John to come up to the park, but he had us like hiding in the bushes around the park, and like John was a hothead back then. So he like totally pushed John's buttons. John freaked out, like shoved Joe. Joe called the cops saying that John assaulted him. John had like a pistol on the park, and like it was an ordeal. Like we had to give the cops like all of our footage, download security footage to show that John had like a gun on the
Whoa.
park. And then Rick and I had to go to court with Joe about this whole assault. And then whenever John came out of the courtroom, like Rick had a camera and was like, "Can you tell us what's going on?" And then John freaked out again, and his mom got involved. So it was not as amicable as the series would have you believe,
Wow.
but
Yeah. The
yeah, I
series made it
felt
seem like
really.
it was
Oh
such a
no,
clean breakup. No problem. Okay,
no,
he likes women. He realized he still loves women. He left. No, there was a court
no.
case involved, and then
Yeah,
oh my gosh. But it was
it was
okay.
a
So
mess.
he really threw him under the bus. Because didn't
Yeah.
everyone carry guns on the premises? Like everyone, it seemed like a lot of people were carrying pistols with them, right?
I think it was mainly just Joe who had,
Okay.
well, and Travis had guns, but like none of the employees had guns. It wasn't
Okay.
like I was toting a pistol around or anything, But yeah, so that was a pretty eventful day.
Yeah. Yeah, that is wild. And you got to be part of it, which is even crazier. Okay,
I
so another question for you. And guys, if you're just tuning in, she worked for the Tiger King for it's 8 months, correct?
Yeah, about
8 months.
I want to
We
say.
have a direct connection to the Tiger King, hearing the inside scoop of what the series missed out on and just these crazy stories. So if you have questions, comment below. We will get to them. You can either throw them in the comments or press that question mark you see below. Type in the questions there. But we'll get to them. I've got a decent list. We're not going to take forever. I know you've got life to live, but this is so crazy to me.
I
No,
really don't today. It's a Sunday, so.
perfect. Okay, awesome. So more questions, the merrier. So guys, okay. So another question for you. The show really focused on drug use. Was drug use was it that prevalent when you like? Did you see it, or was it mostly behind closed doors?
The meth definitely was behind closed doors. I never
Yeah.
saw anyone use meth. I mean, people smoked weed and we all drank, and we were in our early 20s, so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
partied and stuff, but nothing like hard.
Yeah. Um. Okay. I figured it
Yeah.
was behind closed doors. It was just meth is a horrible drug, and
Yeah. It's
you can
pretty
see what.
prevalent in Oklahoma, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Mid.
not surprising that someone somewhere did it, but I never, saw it done or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was an easy question. What about what about the animals? So that bitch Carol Baskin, she was right. I mean, she's been claiming that all these animals are mistreated. In your
Right.
opinion, how did and wow, perfect timing. Haley just asked, how did you feel like the animals were cared for as well? Good segue, Haley. Yeah, I mean, in your opinion, were the animals actually taken care of? I mean, they made it seem like they were just trying to pump out these baby tigers and then would just throw them in the cage until they would rot, or Joe Exotic would put a bull in their head and put them in the backyard. So,
Jesus.
what? How
Um,
was it?
I mean, I was friends with all the handlers, and they truly loved the animals. They took great care of them from everything that I saw. I mean, they, like the documentary showed, during the winter, there was sometimes a shortage of food, and
Yeah.
so they would have to choose, which tigers ate one day and, which didn't, which was, hard to see. But other than that, I mean, like I said, from everything I saw, they were very well taken care of.
Yeah, yeah. Did they actually feed them meat, like expired meat from Walmart? Was that true?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, the meat truck would go every week, go to a handful of Walmarts and come back full. And the animal handlers would have to be like up to like midnight, breaking down all the, taking all the meat out of the packaging and putting them into like barrels to feed the animals. So yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
that happened. That the expired Walmart meat is true.
So, okay, follow-up question on that one.
Okay.
Part of your like while you were working there, you lived on the premises.
Right.
Was food included? Like, did they feed you, or did you go offsite to get your own groceries? Like, okay, my
Yeah.
question is, did you eat the expired Walmart meat as well?
I, no, I did not eat the expired Walmart meat. I did shop at the local Walmart in Pauls Valley, but I
Yeah.
did not eat the expired meat. No,
Did
I
you
went.
ever? Someone just asked. Did you ever eat any of the expired Walmart meat pizzas? Did you? Were those? Was the
Uh,
pizzeria open before? Like did that open after you
no,
left?
that opened after I left. So
Okay.
no, I did not have any of the meat pizza from.
Oh man. All right. So let's see. What else you got? So that knocks off food. What about? Let's dive into Joe Exotic because
Okay.
he's crazy. That dude, like, what a personality. I mean, just insane. Absolutely insane.
Yep.
Was he different? I mean, I know he always had a camera on him,
Right.
but from what they showed on Netflix to real life, was he as crazy as they made him out to be?
Yes, he was. But I mean, there were times where it would just be the two of us, and Joe's human, and he would like cry, and we would talk, and he in a weird way we were like friends because
Yeah,
we spent so much time together, like 10 to 12 hours a day together, 6 days a week.
right.
So like, yes, he did have a larger than life personality, and that was him in the Netflix show. That's him 100%. But yeah, I mean, he does have like a vulnerable side and a lighter, side to him. He's not always, going at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, everyone's human. There's only so long. I mean, there's only so long you can stay on camera and keep that personality up without real emotions coming out. Okay,
Yeah.
someone had a great question below. His music videos. Was Joe actually singing?
No, he's tone deaf. He can't sing at all.
So how? So who's singing in the videos? Who was singing for Joe Exotic? Do you know?
I think Rick discovered it, but it's like some band out of Washington or Oregon. It's like there's an article on Variety that like tells you who the band is, and
Okay.
my friend Militia, who was a animal handler and then secretary at the zoo, she used to like send the payments for the lip sync for the tracks that he would make. So
Oh my God. Do you
yeah, that's
do you
not
have a do you have a personal favorite Joe Exotic song?
fuck no. I used to have to sit and listen to his album on repeat when I'd be in the office with him. So
Oh
I
my
hate it
God.
all.
He would play it nonstop.
It's in the gift shop. He had
Oh,
his music on the whole time.
that would be hell. You
It
know.
was like
Oh.
eventually I started to tune out, but like yeah, no, I can't
Oh
listen
my
to his
gosh. Oh
music.
my gosh. That would. Oh man. Yeah. And then trying to fall asleep. I feel like that would just be playing on repeat in
It's
my
not
mind.
ideal.
Not the songs that I would want to listen to. Oh my God. Um. All right. Let's see. We have more questions coming. More questions coming, guys. If you have questions, please comment below. What? Okay. So we talked about one of his husbands. There was the other Travis, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How was he while you were there?
Travis was just a fun-loving, fearless kid. Like,
Yeah.
all he did was he had his own tiger named Thor that he would walk around the park. He would ride his four-wheeler everywhere. He would go down to the lake and shoot guns. And there was like a four-wheeler trail around the lake that he would,
Yeah.
ride out. But yeah, he was just a fun-loving kid, basically. Because
Yeah.
he was pretty, I mean, he was only, what, like 22, I think, when I was there. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, tragic ending for him. It's just
yeah.
like, and I feel horrible. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that helped Joe, his campaign manager. I mean,
Oh,
the
Joshua, I think.
Josh.
Joshua.
Yeah. Yeah. Joshua having to see that moment. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just the way the series was laid out. The guys nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Like every episode, you think it can't get anywhere. I mean, after episode one, you gotta become your fans with Carol Baskin, right? You're like, oh wow, this woman's great. She's really trying to save the Tigers. But then slowly, with each episode, it's as if you're watching a slow motion car crash because you know bad stuff's gonna come. It's gonna
Right.
happen. But you think you've seen the worst, but then each episode is like, nope, gotcha. It gets
Yeah.
even worse. So, guys, if you haven't
Yeah.
watched The Tiger King, watch it because the way they set it up, I mean, it was perfect. They executed it perfectly, telling these stories in a way that just totally blow your mind. I mean, just it's wild, absolutely wild. So, was there any point that you felt unsafe while working there?
No,
Yeah,
never.
never had a close encounter with the tiger.
I got bit and scratched by cubs.
Yeah,
There was one time, actually, one of my first tours that I did, a tiger got out of the cage and was just like walking across, like the
how the hell did that? Someone
along
forget to
the
lock the
cage.
cage? Oh my!
Well, I nudged my other camera guy, Nico, and I was like, is that tiger supposed to be out? Like, is this part of the tour?
Yeah.
And he was like, no. And so luckily, Bill, who was one of the handlers slash tour guides, like the tiger luckily walked into a cage that was open at the end of like the um, I don't know how to say it, the enclosures, I guess. And luckily, Bill was able to shut it, and I don't think anybody noticed except for me and Nico. But
Oh my
yeah,
God, that could have been
so
tragic.
yeah, so
Jeez.
there that happened, and then there was another time we were doing a tiger needed stitches, and they had put the tiger under, and we walked out of the cage, and then the tiger woke up and like started getting up, and I think John slammed the cage shut, but those were probably the closest calls, if you will.
Yeah. And so when you say like, are you just for your job? Were you just filming? You were just filming everything. I mean, you were literally just. Were you behind the camera, 20? You know, not 24/7, but the hours you were working.
I'm pretty much all day, yeah.
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 That's so. Then so you literally got footage of this tiger passing this. I mean, was it a tour?
I
So when you
didn't
say
get
tour,
footage.
it's
Yeah. So on the tours, like we only had to film when Joe would do his speeches. He didn't really care about anything else getting on camera. So no, I didn't happen to be rolling when the tiger walked across, but I do think I have video somewhere of that cat waking up and
oh my
John
God.
like having to slam the cage door shut. So
Yeah, yeah. Wow. That very, very close call. Speaking
yeah.
of like all the coworkers, what was the mood like? Day to day. Was everyone pretty stoked to be there?
I feel like at the beginning it was. It was a lot of fun the first few months, but I mean, it quickly started getting just toxic. Everyone was drinking too much. You know, Joe
Yeah.
was uncontrollable. Um, so it just it went downhill quickly.
I mean, you were there right at the start of the downfall. It
Yeah,
seems like, right? I mean,
yeah,
truly, the
yeah.
husband left, and that, right, I mean, it's crazy how quickly. I mean, of course, he ran for president, which was a great media
Right.
stunt. Ran for
Yeah.
governor, realized that he wasn't going to win anything, and then it was just like quickly default. So you left. So you left when? Late 2015.
I left at like the end of January.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Okay, so we covered the unsafe. Um, let's do this one. What was your favorite memory from working there?
Ooh, favorite memory. Probably the first time I got to film like a litter of cubs.
Oh,
That
cool.
yeah, that was pretty I mean, how often are you ever gonna see like a litter of cubs being born?
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. And then like getting to watch the cubs grow up. There's actually the picture that I posted with me and that cub for the ticket interview. I
Yeah.
was there when that cub was born.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
that was pretty cool. That I mean, that'll never happen again in my lifetime. So that was
Yeah.
cool to get to watch like that cub grow up and get to play with it, and you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, probably my favorite.
That's neat. I mean, that would be such a so I don't know if you. I was in Nepal. I went to Bangladesh and Nepal right before the coronavirus happened.
Right.
Literally trying to find a tiger in the wild. Tigers are my favorite, absolute favorite animal, and
Yeah.
I had to find one in the wild. It is so rare to find one. Went
Yeah.
to Bangladesh, missed out. Finally got to Nepal. Had to take a 15-hour bus ride from Kathmandu, middle of freaking nowhere, to Bardi National Park, and we found
Yeah.
one, and I was stoked. And then 2 days later, Netflix releases this series. It's like, wow, the tiger theme just continued, right?
Yeah.
And it really it was shocking to me. I mean, I heard the number, but it was truly shocking to learn there are more tigers in captivity in the United States than there are in the wild around the world. That's
Right.
crazy. That
Yeah.
is like an endangered species is actually thriving in cages in the United States. Like
Yeah.
that just blows my mind.
Very
But
backward.
yeah, but the experience you had getting to see tigers born, like that would
Yeah.
be nearly impossible in the wild, you know? So, like,
Yeah.
in that aspect, I mean, what one thing that did say is like education. I will agree to a certain extent. That is
Right.
cool, right? You're going to learn a lot about the species that are otherwise quite rare to find in the wild.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so even in the pile of crap from these horrible people, I think there still is a little ounce of good that they're doing
Yeah.
education wise.
Slight silver lining.
Yeah, exactly. Would you ever go back to work there if they offered you? So there's a new zoo opening up, right? One of Joe's Exotic's main rivals. Would if
Yeah.
any of the or if Carol Baskin would any of these zoos be worth your time? Would you do it? Would you dive back in?
Well, it's funny that you asked. There's a zoo right outside of Denver, um, and there's a guy there named Pat Craig, and he has like over 700 acres, and he has all his tigers and bears and lions are roaming just around these
Oh
700
wow,
acres.
yeah.
So I would probably work for him just because like his animals aren't caged. He actually got about 40 of Joe's tigers after all
No
this zoo
way.
stuff happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I would probably work for him, but or like an actual accredited zoo.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
would
yeah,
I
yeah.
work for any of these other little no.
They're just
Absolutely not.
it's crazy. It's like a tiger mafia. I mean, truly. I mean, it is the how they all know each other, all intertwined into each other's lives.
Yeah.
The amount of
Yeah.
hate between most of them. I mean, how one of them
The
hired
bitter
someone to kill the other
rivalry.
one. Like, it. Who knew that there was such an underground, you know,
Well, it's
source of
like
tigers in the United States?
I mean,
It's
I
crazy.
did, but I didn't think anything of it, like
Right? Yeah, yeah. Well, because when you work, it'd be your normal, right? I mean,
yeah.
when you're there long enough, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is how things are. Oh my God, nah,
Yeah.
the series showed a hell no, like that's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
Definitely, yeah, definitely not normal. But
Yeah. So why did you end up leaving?
so there were a lot of promises made to us by Rick. Uh, he told us since the beginning. I didn't know this reality show thing was being made. Like when I signed up just to do like the YouTube thing, make animal videos. And then Rick started a couple days after me and was like, we're going to do this reality show. You guys are going to be so famous. We're going to get so rich.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think it was in December, we were like putting together a sizzle reel. Rick hired another producer friend of his that had
Yeah.
worked on Inside Edition with him. We made this sizzle reel, did all these press packets, did this, press photo shoot, which they used footage of that in the documentary series.
Hmm.
And Rick said, I'm going to fly out to LA. I have all these meetings. I
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
all this lined up with these studios. And he just kept pushing it back and pushing it back. And it was just not worth it to be there any longer. And I felt like we were being lied to, and I was just over it. I'm like, it's not worth my mental health.
Yeah.
And so I got out of there.
Were you there for the fire?
No, that happened a couple months after I
Who do you think started it?
left. I think Joe did, but I mean, who knows?
Ah, yeah, that'll be a mystery forever. And who knows if
Yeah.
that was solved. Okay, one question I had because they said
Mhm.
all the footage was burned up, right? They lost everything, but they still had quite a bit of footage from was some of
Um,
it backed up? Where did they get the shots for the series?
well, I know that they paid one of my editors for footage because I mean, all of us have footage of stuff that we do there. Not a whole, like, I don't have a whole lot, but I do. But I do have some. And then there's a bunch of our old shows that are still on YouTube. So they
Yeah.
could have easily ripped it from YouTube. But yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's right. He did the live series. Of course, there would be some stuff,
Yeah,
but it was surprisingly like quality footage. I was shocked. I mean, YouTube when you upload it can kind of be trash, but okay,
yeah.
that makes sense. We had a question before. What did they give you the top of the line camera equipment? What were you shooting with? What were you editing with?
We were shooting with these, I think they were Canon AX10
Okay.
camcorders, and then we edited on Adobe Premiere and Final Cut 7.
Okay. Another
So,
another follow up question. When you left, like, did it rock your world, or was it like a breath of fresh air leaving the crazy environment?
it was a bit of a relief because it's
Yeah.
like living there and working there, like your personal life and your professional life are just like so intertwined that it was like,
Melt together. Yeah.
yeah, like even when I went home, it's like, okay, I'm still with my coworkers, which I mean, I love them to death. We're
Yeah.
very good friends, but it's like there's still like no real escape because you're still on the property. Like
Right.
you're still, and like sometimes Joe would call us at like 10 p.m. and be like, I need a camera. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like we're trying to unwind here, you know? So it was like you're constantly on call and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it was quite a relief to leave.
I can only imagine. Yeah, just get back to some sort of normalcy, or
Yeah.
remember what normalcy was like before working there. We just had another
Yeah.
question. This was a good one. Did you know about all the other crazy stuff after you left? There was a ton of stuff that happened. Did you learn about it through Netflix, or did you keep in touch with coworkers, and would they give you the inside scoop while you were gone?
Yeah, like Rick would talk to me. And that's really it though. But yeah, he kind of filled me in on stuff that was going on up until the fire happened because he left immediately after the fire happened.
Okay.
And yeah, and then I talked to some of the other handlers that, would kind of be like, that, came and went from the zoo and they were like, oh, it's getting dramatic again. Because they thought that Jeff was going to turn things around and make things
Yeah.
better. And I guess he has to some extent. I don't know. But just from what I was told, I guess there was still some drama with him. So
Yeah. You've watched on Netflix, right? Have you
Mhm.
watched the series?
Yeah,
Was there anything
yeah.
on the show that shocked you that you didn't know about?
Um, the Chucky doll looking guy. Where did he come from? I was like, I never seen that guy, heard his name, and like no one said. So I was like, who is this guy? Why is he even getting involved? Oh, hi, Gordon. Sorry, my dog is bothering me.
That's okay.
But yeah, I was like, I didn't know how he was involved or heard about him being in this story at all. So that was kind of like left field.
Yeah. Yeah. That I'll never forget. The iconic jet ski scene.
Oh my god,
Like, what the hell is going on here?
that was so good.
All right, another question. Was his hair real?
Yeah, I
It
took
was.
him to go get his hair cut.
Wow, okay. So
Yeah,
the mullet was real. He was
yep.
rocking it. He looked great. He wore it well. He wore it very well.
Yeah, it's
Let's
his real
see.
hair.
I think you already answered this. Well, the Tiger King persona. I mean, if he's calling it 10 o'clock, that wasn't just an act. I mean, that's truly how it was. How
Yeah,
Joe thought it was. I mean,
yeah,
next level, absolute next level.
yeah, for sure.
How about this one? Were there any other crazy events or stories that you already mentioned one, but that they left out of the show that should have been included? Are there any others that come to mind while you were there? Was just like, how the hell did they miss this?
Well, Joe ran a scam one time. He on our show he had a fundraiser to get Saf a new prosthetic arm and
Yep.
raised like I think like 1,500 bucks and Saf never got her arm. We never heard about it again. So he would do that kind of stuff. He faked having cancer. Um, he like he had this he went through a phase where he couldn't keep food down and was just like constantly vomiting every day and
Yeah.
then got like saline bag solution. He called them his treatments And I think it was just a bag of saline. Um, so yeah, he would do stuff like that. um,
Jeez.
yeah.
Okay. Total. I mean, a total scam artist.
Which
Like,
is why I think it's so funny that he's like, oh, Jeff is such a con artist. And I'm like, oh, is he? Or are you also?
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So wait. Let's recap this one. So
Okay.
he had a fake fundraiser for money for an arm. Got the money.
Yeah.
He faked cancer as well. He faked some sort of illness.
He said he said he had prostate cancer, which he didn't have, but he was acting like he was dying.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But was that more so to get out of, like, was that to add to the show? Like, there wasn't.
I think
This
honestly
guy
it
is
might have
nuts.
been so he could bring John back into the fold. Because that happened like short. He got his, his prostate cancer. I feel like a couple weeks after John left, and then yeah, and then just went around being like, I'm so sick, I have cancer. And so it's really hard. All of this is so hard on me, like the breakup, the cancer. Um,
Well, really, okay.
I'm
So it was
trying
a
to run
ploy.
this too,
Yeah,
so yeah.
totally to get him back. Yeah, to keep him in love with it. And
Yeah,
a final grab. Jeez.
right.
Man, the more you
So,
learn about this guy, like, oh man, wow.
yeah.
Insane. Insane. Well, a good follow up on that one then is there's been news that Donald Trump is going to look into Joe Exotic's case, and his son has said the punishment for I think it's 22 years is too much. Do you think Joe Exotic should be pardoned by the President of the United States?
No, absolutely not. He's exactly where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Um, he's really just a mentally ill individual. Like he needs mental help.
Yeah.
I think this spiraled way out of control, and like he probably could have gotten a handle on it if he had gotten help sooner. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens when he gets out of prison. Will there be, will he pick back up this show that he started? Like, he's gonna have a hell of a lot of fans. It's
I mean, he's got 22 years to sit there and think
and
about
think
it.
about it
So
and plan, and he's planning. He's gonna be planning to come back, and maybe a plan to come back to actually get rid of Carol Baskin.
his
Right?
comeback for it, 75.
Still with the mullet. I wonder if it would be. I need to see a photo of him recently. If they, I wonder if he's still getting that mullet done. Of course, it won't be that bleach blonde, but
yeah, I was like, they might give him a haircut, but I doubt it's gonna be that blonde beauty we're used to.
yeah. Do you keep up with Rick? Like, what's Rick up to nowadays?
Yeah, Rick's living in Norway right now.
Yeah.
He is married, and he's a freelance reporter for one of their news stations there. And I think he's working on a documentary project. I actually did an interview with him yesterday. So he seems to be riding the Tiger King wave of fame. So
well,
he's
his
doing well.
dream finally became a reality. It wasn't the reality show that he was expecting, but that promise he kept making finally came to light thanks to someone else who used all his footage, right?
Right? I was like, I certainly didn't get a cut, but it's all good.
Oh man, yeah. All right, let me scroll through this. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any questions.
I haven't been paying attention.
Okay, this one from Katie. Did his eyebrow piercing that was barely attached ever get caught?
Not that I saw. No, it's still clinging on for dear life there.
Yeah, it's barely staying on there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, just reading these real quick, seeing what I'm missing. There's a lot of people were talking. Wow, this has been the most successful live we've had. You're crushing it, homegirl. Tiger King.
I do what I can.
The Tiger King hype is very, very real. Let's see. We got a troll in here, which is awesome. That's when you know you got a good live. Okay, Here's one. How was working with Eric Cowie? He seems like a type of guy who looks the other way when something bad happens.
Oh, not at all. Eric's the best. He's like truly there for the animals, doesn't give a shit about anything else.
Okay.
Um, I know that he, like, when Joe would be putting down cats, like, Eric would have to help with that just because that was his job.
Yep.
But no, Eric's the best. He's really a great guy.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. All right. 2 more questions for you, and then we'll wrap this up. Guys, if you have any more, I have 2 more questions. But if you have any last minute burning questions, comment below so you don't miss out. All right. So one is, did the entire staff hate Carol Baskins as much as Joe Exotic? Like, was she talked about as much as it seemed like in the series?
Only by him. Like, we didn't give a shit. Like, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, Sorry, someone's calling me.
No, it's
Rick
all right.
did an investigative piece whenever we first got there. So, like, everyone knew who
Yeah.
Carol was, but, like, we didn't really have an opinion of, you know, what she's doing, what she's about. Like, that wasn't
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
that we cared about. So, no, I wouldn't say that the staff hated her at all. We all knew who she was, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to save my last question for the very end, but there's one more from Haley. Also, is there anything in the series that you feel was portrayed inaccurately?
I watched it like the first day it came out, so it's
Yeah.
not like 100% sharp in my mind. But not that I can think of. There was not anything that sticks out. But if I come
Did
up
you
with something, you know.
Did he ever have any? Were there any other of the like the owner? I mean, of course, Carol Baskins wouldn't come, but would any of the other Tiger owners come in? Like, was there ever a conference where they were all together, or they keep to the?
Not
They
that
keep to
I
the.
know of.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
I know that Joe would talk to Doc every now and then, but they
Did
didn't really.
did you ever meet Doc?
No, I
That
didn't
guy.
meet Doc or Carol. I always
Okay,
knew who they were, but I never met
yeah. Doc is a fascinating man as well. Like
them.
he just
All of them are just batshit crazy.
totally, and like this show kind of glorified them. I mean, I hope kids don't aspire to be these people, more so to learn from them and realize this isn't what you're supposed to do. But yeah, yeah. But TigerCon 2015, Robert Early, yeah. How about TigerCon 2021? We'll put together a TigerCon to get all these
I'm
people.
there.
Oh my god, wow, that would be fascinating. There would be,
Yeah.
You got to do it quick. You got to jump on this hype before people forget about the Tiger King. All right. My last question for you: did Carol Baskin kill her husband?
I have no doubt that she did. Unfortunately, they can't prove it yet, but yeah.
Did you?
I mean,
they reopened the case. They reopened it. Did you see it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they find something because there's just no coincidence in crime. Like,
yeah,
she did it. She did a great job covering it.
It's too perfect. It's too perfect.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like the money with like when someone vanishes after 5 years, she went there 5 years, 1 day after. Like, come on. And did you see those wedding photos? I mean, not to judge people, but like, my God, that woman.
Yeah, she's interesting for sure.
Is it true? Like, are tigers' stomachs so acidic? Would bones vanish? I mean, is it a perfect way to get rid of a body?
Joe, I mean, whenever they would feed the tigers at the zoo, they would feed them like whole turkeys, and they'd eat all the bones and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's possible.
Oh my God, I really hope they catch her. I feel horrible for his kids, for that side of the family. I mean, to have him vanish and say he's in Central America. Come on. Carol Baskins, we know you did it. Just come clean. Just come clean. It's kind of like
I think it's so funny that, like, after this documentary series, everyone's rooting for Joe and everyone just hates Carol. I just find that so wild.
How can you root for any of these people?
I mean, it's weird though, because Joe is a very likable guy.
He
Like,
is. I will give him that.
he was a
Yes.
lot of fun when we would hang out. Like,
Yeah.
we'd be in the middle of work and he'd, pull up Grinder and be like, "What do you think about this guy?" You're like, "Ooh, he's cute. Swipe right." So
Yeah.
he was a lot of fun. He could joke around, but yeah, he could also be cruel and
Yeah.
awful. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just think that's so funny that everyone hates Carol and loves Joe.
It's fascinating. Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah.
and Joe's the one in prison. Well, here's the thing. He's the one that's been caught. Carol
Yeah.
might not be far behind him hopping in a jail cell. We'll see. We will
Yeah.
see.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you
Time
so
will tell.
much. It's
Yeah,
it's
no,
great
this
to hear
was
your
a
insider
blast.
scoop. What a crazy, like, I'm glad you got out of that situation alive with all your limbs. Like, I'm glad that that tiger that escaped didn't get you. But wow, thank you for this tell all. Thank you for
Yeah.
messaging. I'm glad you posted that photo of you right after the show. Social media is an amazing thing, and it's
Yeah.
fun to keep up with your friends around the world, and it's fun to realize, like, oh my God, I actually had a friend that worked for this guy. So as soon as I saw your post, I immediately messaged you. So thanks for taking the time to do this. What I
Yeah,
do
of course.
at the end of all these shows, this is episode 39. I let the interviewee say their parting words to the world. So what is your message to the world?
That's a lot of pressure, Brent.
Oh, come on, you've got this.
I just want to say thank you guys for watching and for being so excited about the Tiger King. It's been awesome talking to everyone and having people reach out. So stay safe and healthy, and yeah.
Heck yeah. Nailed it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, it's really good to see you.
Yeah.
Guys,
You
that's it
too.
on this Tiger King edition of Get the Facts with Folan. Episode 40. We're going to be staying right along. We're cruising back in. We took Easter off. Tonight in Asia, tomorrow morning in the United States, we're going to be talking to Carol Baskin. We're going to be going live. No, I'm just kidding. I wish. That would be so
damn,
epic.
I'm tuning in for sure. See what old girls got to say.
We will be actually going to England, back to the UK. We'll be talking travel there. And in 24 hours, we're going to be talking to my buddy David from Slovenia. So back to the travel information. But I thought it'd be fun to mix it up, learn more about this Tiger King. This show, guys, if you haven't watched, watch it on Netflix. It is insane. You have never heard a story crazier than this, with the amount of people involved and the tigers involved and just complete madness. So with that, please stay at home. Please stay inside. Wash your hands, because remember, we're still fighting this coronavirus together. Let's get back to some normalcy. And with that, take care, y'all. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
Bye, Brent.